Hi there, it's VoiceOver Heather here. Today we're going to make some ephemera, which is lovely and pretty and patchwork for a junk journal I'm working on. So we're going to need some glue and possibly a stapler, lots and lots of scraps, which I'm sure you've got as well, and also some scissors and lots of junk. So we're going to use a cardboard box, and this is an old tissue box, just measuring it out because it's going to go into this particular scrapbook, and I wanted it to be around about 6 inches in length so that it didn't overhang too much over the pages. And I'm just going to layer up some pretty scrap paper around the outside like a patchwork type collage, and I'm tearing some of it and I'm just using some as it is, just in strips, and it looks really cute all the way around the edge. Now this particular box, because I've decided to keep it as the box, all I've done is cut the edges off. When you move it from side to side, that hole there acts as a frame and you'll see different images depending on which side it's at. So the next bit of ephemera we're going to make is just using some basic pieces of card. I've cut up the rest of the tissue box, and here are some larger scraps that I had in my stash, and I'm just cutting them up so that they're great for making pockets and journal cards and things like that. I'm just double checking the length on this so that I know it's not going to be too big for the scrapbook I'm working on. And what I do is basically just cover the small strips of tissue box with some pretty paper, and then that acts as a nice base for adding things like ruffles and other embellishments. And these are really great, even though they're just strips of card, they're really great for making into belly bands or decorative elements or little tiny pockets and things like that. So these are really useful. It's always helpful to have a few on hand. So now all I'm doing is just cutting up a little bit of pretty shimmery paper, and this is like a vellum style paper, and I'm just folding it into a little sort of concertina type shape, and then I'm going to layer that up onto the card base that I've made, just with a little bit of tissue underneath. I'm just scrunching that up to add a little bit of texture, and then on top of that I'm just going to layer those folded pieces of shimmery paper, and I'm stapling those on with my tiny attacher. So that's great for a belly band. So now I've just picked out some other little tiny scraps. I'm not thinking too hard about this. I think that's really the key to making these little clusters. It's just basically pick a few pieces of scrap out, cut them up, and just quickly layer them down onto the base piece. And the quicker you do it, really, the better the effect is, I find, because then it looks all nice and sort of mismatched and really sweet. Here all I'm doing is just again adding a few scraps. I just put them down first to see if I like the look of them, and then just glue them all down with a bit of glue that dries clear. You could use just normal PVA, and then that makes a really nice little pocket or belly band. Now this one here, I'm making lots of little pockets, so it's like a tiny layered pocket. And what I'm going to do when I've layered all the pockets up is make a few tiny little envelopes, and then they will tuck really nicely into each of those pockets. So this is the first envelope that I'm decorating, and it's just one of those wage envelopes or money envelopes that you give to your kids at school for their dinner money, and just layered a few little pieces on front. Then I had these die cut envelopes, and I just made them up and popped them into the little pockets. And then I make another couple of little tags just to slip into the other pockets, but you could write little notes or, well, anything really. It's just something to add a little bit of interest so that somebody's got something to pull out of those little pockets. It makes it nice and interactive. Now this is just a paper bag that I got with a pair of tights in, and what I'm doing is just strengthening it slightly by cutting out a piece of cardboard from the back of a pasta packet. So I'm just gluing that into the back, and now although when you turn it over you can actually see that pasta packet sort of through, that's going to be stuck onto a page, so you're not actually going to see it when it's in the journal. So all I'm doing is just layering up again a few scraps of paper just so that it looks pretty, and then what I wanted to do was just strengthen the opening. So I'm adding some card, and again this adds to the layering effect because I want it to look all nice and pretty and mismatched. So I'm just adding a couple of strips of card to the mouth of the bag, then it's nice and easy to open, and hopefully it won't tear when I open it. And I'm just sticking those pieces of scrap paper down onto the front and making it look very pretty. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of this ephemera being made, and if you did, please do give me a thumbs up. I've got a video showing how I made the journal that these items are going into, so I'll link that below, and also I'm making a video putting some of this ephemera into the journal. So take care, I hope you're having some crafty fun, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!